dope segment right there. You're tuned into the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast with your brother God and SamAnt. We're going in. If you're enjoying the content here today, hit that 5-star rating, leave a comment, and do not forget to subscribe to the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. The button should be right there on your screen. Now, Jim Jones, man, he's been doing a lot of interviews. He did an interview with the Breakfast Club the other day, and he was asked about Tekashi. He declined to answer. Well, he sat down with Power 105's Angie Martinez, and he was actually, asked about 50 Cent, inferring that he was an informant. SamAnt has that audio, I think, queued up.
I do. Let's hear it.
You calm down?
Calm down. You never know that you're in a circus till you figure out you was looking at a clown. So, when the clown gives out information, everybody laughs. You did? But for the most part, everybody knows I'm a substantial individual. I've been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah.
People don't read the facts. They read the gram.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. You know what I mean? And people use the media to do what they do. They blow everything up out of proportion. But as far as my feelings, no, it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Of course, it took me somewhere else at the moment when I saw it. But then...
You calmed down?
Calmed down, sat back, laughed at it, looked at the person who was dishing it. Thought about trying to be just as facetious as the person was, but then it doesn't make no sense. I'll be doing the same thing he's doing, and that's lightweight doing what we don't. You never know that you're in a...
All right, God, that was Jim Jones' comments on the situation. Obviously, didn't bring up any names. Hasn't brought up any names in any interviews, but we can read between the lines clearly. Now, we talked about this when it dropped, just giving it context because it was flying all over the place. Jim Jones is this, Jim Jones is that, 50 did this, 50 did that. We know 50 deleted it immediately after putting it up, but the damage was already done. We told people to pause and kind of chill on that. That's not cool what's going on. That's very divisive what's going on. You don't put those kind of stigmas on people, especially living in that era that don't hold well. And now he's commenting on it. What do you think about what Jim Jones said, and what do you, looking back on it now, what do you think about what 50 did?
I think what 50 did was childish, foolish, and that's why he pulled it down, because he know he made a big mistake. Also, he has to understand, I'm sure he does it in this day and age, if it's up for a millisecond, somebody has it. Well, he took it down, obviously, because he didn't want to be, he knew he was wrong, I think, for doing that. It was just I think he put it up and he didn't realize the type of negative response that it was going to get. Who knows what happened behind the scenes, but it came down. Jim Jones, man, I mean, I've seen a lot of things about Jim Jones, but from what I see about him, he seems like a pretty thorough stand-up dude. And I don't think that he was ever an informant or anything like that. And I just think that when you put that type of stigma on somebody's name as an informant and you can't really back it up, it makes you look like a sucker. So I think, with that being said, that Jim Jones definitely handled it the right way. He didn't go off and go on Instagram and go crazy and start threatening people. He just kind of remained quiet, addressed it on the interview, and he sounded like he was definitely pissed about it. You can definitely hear it in his voice. And ultimately, I mean, it's just more beef with more rappers in New York. So hopefully they can, I remember Big Pun had a song. He said, this town ain't big enough for both of us and I ain't going nowhere. So New York is a big spot, but it ain't all that big. So hopefully they can remain peaceful, inhabiting that space in New York. But obviously that's a beef there, and Jim Jones sounds pissed off.
Yeah, and he looked pissed off. You could see it all over his face. And he had an interview with the Breakfast Club, and I don't know if he had one Hot 97, but he hasn't looked happy in any of these interviews where he had to answer certain questions, obvious questions, and he's done very well in going ahead and saying, nah, I'm not going to talk about that, but it bothers him. 50 Cent responded to, I believe, the Breakfast Club interview, and he typically went on just trolling him and joking around and making light of the situation. You said that he knew he was wrong, and I believe that. I feel like he knew that was a little bit too far out of bounds. Let me take this down, but the damage is already done. Does 50 Cent owe Jim Jones an apology, whether that be publicly or privately? And does he need to chill, in your opinion, on kind of, I don't want to say going at Jim Jones because 50 Cent going to do what he do, but kind of certain issues, being where you from, being the age you are, knowing how severe certain things is. There's certain things lines he shouldn't tell.
I think that he needs to get a taste of his own medicine. And when I say that, I mean somebody needs to get him tied up in some litigation, because if it was the other way around, 50 Cent is suing anybody who uses his image, name, or anything like that. I think it's kind of some sucker shit that he does it, but he has the right to exercise you know, that option, him being a brand and a businessman. We know that he's sued numerous people for different infractions. So I don't know. I'm not sure if Jim Jones can actually sue for that, but I mean, it's almost one of those things where you got to make your bed, you know what I'm saying? And you got to lay in it. So he knows what he did. And again, he may have to one day face the consequences, because that's something you put somebody on. You ain't going to just go and just, you know, sweep it under the rug. They're going to remember that for a long time. Now, does he owe him an apology? Yes. Is he going to do it? Probably not.
You got, first off, you got Jim Jones, who looks like, by the way he's answering questions, maybe caught up in some shit that involves legal counsel, and put it that way. So he's not answering certain things because legal counsel was on situations. For 50 to just throw that out there, and for anybody to be able to just throw whatever they want out there, great way Jim Jones put it. You got to look up your information, search your information, but people just look at the gram and say, of course, that's Bible. And that's so crazy and divisive. And 50 got to know better than that just to go, oh yeah, I'm just going to go fuck with him today.
But it's all fair though. When it's beef, this is what happens. It's all, I mean, people don't talk about people's mother, their children. This is what beef is. So Jim Jones shouldn't be surprised by this at all. And he can't do nothing now because, you know, Tekashi gonna put the feds on him. So it's just like, you got to take this shit on the chin, Jimmy, fall back. And just keep it moving. I mean, everybody's getting money. It is what it is. I mean, you know, you're not a rat, so keep it moving.
Enough silence will eventually, you know what I mean, smoke out the fire, and it'll go away. So I just think the more he ignores it, the more time that goes by, this will go away. Now, your boy's getting out soon, December 18th, probably. And 9 times out of 10, he might go on a little rant about Jimmy. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. So that might bring a little bit more attention to it. But I think the more time that goes by, it'll go away.
Well, there's another situation here. This cat, initials HC on YouTube. We all know I actually had
to fucking think of who that was.
He called Casanova 2 times snitch on a video.
Interesting.
And then he put up a video pretty much saying that Casanova got in contact with him, and after that the dude turned bitch, HC, and became a fan of Casanova because Casanova called him and whatnot. But he went on record of calling him, a snitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's pretty, crazy that he turned bitch.
Bitch. Oh God, a lot of us, you know what I mean? While we do this, we all make mistakes in certain things, and sometimes you got to apologize, right? I found myself in a situation with Spider Local. I said something about his ass is looking for attention. He got really upset at me. You know what? As a man, I said, you know what? I really don't got no problem with this dude. I don't really know who he is like that. My fault, dog. I'm a man. I'm not sitting here trying to bring drama. I'm always going to keep it real. If I meant that like that, which I still feel like you were looking for attention, which I told him, but I was like, at the end of the day, if I came at you wrong as a man, my fault. If I call a motherfucker a snitch,
right,
I'm not backpedaling from that. It's obvious that somebody was looking for attention. And in the famous words of Jay Prince, who we also got attention from, when you ask to be, or when you campaign and eventually your ass gets elected, he lives in a very, very small place where a lot of people know, a lot of rappers are from them areas. It ain't hard to find a motherfucker. And you do a lot of numbers doing a lot of bullshit. And if you don't think people see it, you're tripping. So be careful with what you do. But it's obvious that certain people don't care. That's the attention that they want. That's the allure they want until something really bad happens.
You know what happened though, SamAnt, with that? He's looking around and he's seeing other people say it because other people put videos out. And he's not doing no research. He's just jumping on there, running his mouth and putting it out there. And now you think it's all cool because you ain't gonna never run into none of these dudes. I'm just some guy on YouTube, but somebody gets in touch with you. Yeah. And you really think that Casanova, just because you called you, everything is cool? Nah, you got to pay for that. This comment of calling him a rat without having the paperwork and then backing off of it. You got to pay for that, dog. Period.
I mean,
it ain't all cool.
Back in the day.